Welcome back, guys. Today, we're diving into a list of absolute game changers, shows that prove animation isn't just for kids. From heart-pounding action to mind-bending sci-fi, these are the series that have kept me glued to my screen. And trust me, you're going to want to add every single one of them to your watch list. So let's get into it. First up, we have an anthology series that is a visual feast for the senses. Every episode is a self-contained story, a little burst of creative genius from different animation studios around the world. One minute you're in a cyberpunk dystopia, the next you're witnessing a surreal space odyssey, and then you're plunged into a gritty horror story. The sheer diversity of art styles is breathtaking, and the stories are just as varied. Some are funny, some are terrifying, and some are just plain weird in the best possible way. It's the kind of show where you never know what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be a wild ride. The animation is top-notch with a level of detail that's just insane. This is Love, Death, and Robots. It's a true celebration of the art of animation and a must-watch for anyone who appreciates creative storytelling. Next, we have a series that takes a classic sci-fi franchise and gives it a fresh, brutal spin. Set in a future ravaged by a war against machines, this anime follows a soldier sent back in time to protect a messianic figure from a relentless assassin. While the premise might sound familiar, the execution is anything but. The animation is slick and modern with action sequences that are both beautifully choreographed and incredibly violent. It's a dark, gritty take on the source material, with a palpable sense of dread and desperation. The characters are complex and conflicted, and the story explores themes of fate, free will, and the human cost of war. You've got to check out Terminator Zero. It's a mature, sophisticated take on a beloved classic that will satisfy both longtime fans and newcomers alike. Now for something a little different. This is a high fantasy adventure that feels like a warm hug from a classic fairy tale, but with a modern twist. It follows two young princes and an elven assassin who team up on a quest to bring peace to their warring kingdoms. The world building is incredible, with a rich history and a unique magic system that's slowly revealed over the course of the series. The characters are what really make this show shine, though. They're charming, funny, and have a genuine chemistry that make you root for them from the very beginning. The animation is beautiful with a cel-shaded style that gives it a distinct look. This is The Dragon Prince. It's a show that's full of heart, humor, and epic adventure, and it's perfect for anyone who loves a good old-fashioned fantasy story. If you're a fan of gothic horror and brutal action, this next one is for you. Based on the classic video game series, this show follows the last surviving member of a disgraced clan of monster hunters as he fights to save a city besieged by an army of demons. The animation is dark and atmospheric, with a style that perfectly captures the gothic horror aesthetic of the source material. The action is fast, fluid, and incredibly bloody, with some of the most creative and visceral fight scenes I've ever seen in an animated series. But it's not all just style over substance. The characters are well-developed and engaging, and the story is a gripping tale of love, loss, and revenge. This is Castlevania. It's a dark, violent, and utterly compelling series that'll have you on the edge of your seat. This next show is a hidden gem that's part martial arts extravaganza, part supernatural thriller. Set in a fictional town in 1970s Mexico, it follows three orphans who are trained in a mystical form of Chinese martial arts. When their master is murdered, they team up with an American DEA agent and a local cop to seek justice. The show is a stylish and action-packed love letter to kung fu movies and grindhouse cinema with a unique blend of cultures that gives it a flavor all its own. The animation has a cool, retro vibe, and the fight scenes are off the charts awesome. But what really surprised me was the depth of the story. It's a tale of family, honor, and revenge with a supernatural twist that keeps you guessing. If you're looking for something that's a little off the beaten path, you have to watch Seis Manos. It's a unique and exhilarating ride. Get ready for a globe-trotting adventure with a modern twist on a classic character. This series reboots the iconic Master Thief for a new generation, following her as she travels the world, stealing from other thieves and returning the loot to its rightful owners. It's a fun, action-packed show with a great sense of style and a surprisingly educational component. Each episode is set in a different country, and you actually learn a little bit about the history and culture of each location. The animation is slick and stylish with a cool, angular look that gives the show a unique look. But the real star is the title character herself. She's smart, resourceful, and always one step ahead of her enemies. This is Carmen Sandiego. It's a show that's both entertaining and educational, and it's perfect for the whole family. Now for something that is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. It's an existential and philosophical journey disguised as a psychedelic space adventure. The series follows a spacecaster who travels to simulated worlds on the brink of apocalypse to interview the inhabitants for his show. The trippy, mind-bending visuals are just the beginning. The real meat of the show is in the interviews themselves, which are actually audio clips from a real-life podcast. The conversations are deep, thought-provoking, and often surprisingly funny, covering everything from life and death to spirituality and the nature of reality. It's a show that will make you think, make you laugh, and maybe even make you question your own existence. This is the Midnight Gospel. It's a truly unique and unforgettable experience that I can't recommend enough. This next show is a masterpiece of storytelling, and it's one of the most honest and unflinching portrayals of depression and addiction I've ever seen. It's set in a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals live side by side, and it follows the life of a washed-up 90s sitcom star who's trying to navigate the treacherous waters of Hollywood. On the surface, it's a hilarious and biting satire of the entertainment industry with a cast of colorful and memorable characters. But underneath the jokes and the zeitgeist is a surprisingly dark and poignant story about a deeply flawed individual struggling to find happiness. This is BoJack Horseman. It's a show that will make you laugh until you cry, and it's a testament to the power of animation to tell complex adult stories. Hold on to your seats because this next one is a cyberpunk thrill ride that will leave you breathless. Set in a futuristic city obsessed with technology and body modification, this anime follows a street kid who tries to survive by becoming a black market mercenary. The animation is absolutely stunning, with a vibrant neon drenched style that brings the world of Night City to life in spectacular fashion. The action is fast, brutal, and utterly exhilarating, with some of the most creative and jaw-dropping visuals I've ever seen in an animated series. But it's not all just style over substance. The characters are well-developed and engaging, and the story is a surprisingly emotional and tragic tale of love, loss, and the human cost of a society that values profit over people. You have to experience Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's a show that will stick with you long after the credits roll. Last but not least, we have a show that is without a doubt a modern masterpiece. Based on a popular video game, this series tells the origin story of two iconic champions, set against the backdrop of a utopian city and its oppressed underbelly. The animation is a work of art, with a breathtakingly beautiful and unique style that blends 2D and 3D animation to create a world that feels both fantastical and lived in. The story is a complex and emotionally resonant tale of two sisters, torn apart by ideology and circumstances. The characters are brilliantly written and voiced, and the world building is second to none. It's a show that has set a new standard for what's possible in animation, and it's an absolute must-watch for anyone who appreciates great storytelling. This is Arcane. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Series Finder, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a recommendation. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and as always, happy watching!